Have you ever looked up at a high-rise apartment or skyscraper and wondered how it all came together? There's obviously a lot of engineering work that goes into coordinating all of that. There's a position out there called a project engineer who does that. A website published by Randstad in June of 2019 says that project management is managing engineering and technical projects. This would be budgeting, personnel, and scheduling. So today I want to inform you guys about what it's like to have a job as a project engineer and the general execution of projects. So as some of you know, I work for Air Products. Air Products is an industrial gas company that separates out the components in air and sells it. So we'll sell nitrogen, oxygen, helium, hydrogen, things like that. And this summer, I'm getting to work in the project execution group there. I have my own project. It's a degasifier skid that separates out oxygen from water, and we're getting to install that in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. So while most of you guys are pursuing technical degrees, a lot of the companies we work for have project engineer positions. So it's likely that one or more of you might obtain one of these positions in your future. The general execution of large-scale industrial projects include obtaining a contract, engineering design, procurement, contracting, and construction. So the first step in executing a project would be obtaining a contract, also known as going to bid. From July of 1994 in Records Management Quarterly, Alice Gannon states that a company will request a proposal from vendors. Request for a proposal is gives vendors specific information about that project. So it'll ask them to do something. It'll tell them what to build, what the timeline is, what they want the price to be approximately, and those vendors will return those proposals, and that customer gets to choose between the proposals on what they want to execute. So, for example, Air Products, one of our customers is PepsiCo. PepsiCo buys nitrogen from us to put inside their chip bags, because if there's oxygen in a chip bag, then the chips will go stale. So after a contract is agreed upon, the next step would be engineering work. The project engineer gets to coordinate all of the different engineers that work under him. So an article called Managing Small Projects is the Essence of Engineering and Construction from May of 2017 lists some of these positions. So I'm just going to go over a few of them. There's a process engineer. They're the guys who make sure that the separation is possible and kind of spec everything out for that. Mechanical systems engineers make sure the pipes are thick enough, they're of the right material. Process systems engineers draft up diagrams, and then process controls engineers are the ones who deal with the instruments, so it would be like pressure indicators, temperature indicators, and things of that nature. So also project engineers create a budget. Inside the budget would be cost of materials, cost of labor, as well as cost of living and travel. From the Journal of Integrated Design and Process Systems, Emily Murillo says that technical reviews play a fundamental role in any project. Now this makes sense because if an engineer works on a project, then you're going to want a second engineer to come in and review the calculations that he made. And that's just because you don't want one engineer to screw up one calculation and then you implement this plan and it doesn't work. So this would be like a professional engineer signing off on a design. One example I wanted to tell you guys about is the Spanish Navy. They actually contracted out some new ships that they wanted to build. And when they contracted it out, there was inadequate initial product requirements. So while they were building these ships, there were a lot of changes that had to be done, and technical reviews actually weren't complete. So because of this, a lot of the ships had to be taken out of service, and so that's just an example where technical reviews should have been implemented. After engineering work is done, procurement and contracting would be the next step. In Alice Gannon's Project Management, An Approach to Accomplishing Things, found in the Records Management Quarterly, she explains what these two terms are. Procurement is the act of buying items, and then contractors are the people who take these items, assemble the items, and kind of create what they want. So after the parts are purchased and contractors know what they're doing, the next step would be construction and closeout. So you have civil, mechanical, and electrical contractors. Civil contractors would come in, level the land, make sure that it's fit for a plant or whatever you're building. Mechanical contractors come in, they bring the vessels, they bring the pipes, they kind of assemble everything, put everything together, and then the electrical guys come in at the end and wire everything together and make sure that there's power. So from a website by Endeavor Business Media, Joel Baselli states that commissioning is the process of assuring all systems and components of a plant are designed, installed, tested, and operated according to the proper requirements. So at the end of a project, a few of the design the deliverables would be mass and energy balances. You have your process flow diagrams, pipe and instrumentation diagrams, isometric drawings, anything that you could look at and see what's in the plant without actually being there. So the execution of projects are complex, but by breaking them down into steps, they can be much easier to understand. From Pipeline and Gas Journal in June of 2014, found in EBSCO's database, there was an article about Air Products and how they got a contract to build an LNG plant in Malaysia. Air Products signs contracts like these all the time, which means project engineers are going to continue to be useful, and there's a lot of job opportunities as a project engineer, especially at these big companies. So I wanted to reiterate what I said about obtaining contracts, engineering design, procurement, contracting, and construction, and how those are a few of the main steps in executing a project. So project engineers have a unique job in that they are responsible for the execution of projects, and college graduates like yourselves with technical degrees are ideal candidates for one of these positions.